You see, they shoot their mouths off in the text, right? But they don't come up to back it. So, Al Grimoire, come on up. Explain to me, reality is not indicative of a God creator. Come on up. I'm waiting for you. I sent an invite. Oh, look at that. He declined the invite. Let's send him another one. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt that he missed that one. So let's see if Al Grimoire accepts that invite. Okay, so he hasn't declined it yet, okay, because he doesn't want to dismiss it, because the moment he does, it's going to show on my screen that he dismissed it for the second time.
Right.
So let's click on his name again. Oh, it's still on the screen. Do you know that it doesn't get dismissed until you dismiss it, until there's a period of time where it self-dismisses? Right. So he's letting it hang on his screen because he doesn't want to self-dismiss it, because then I would indicate that he dismissed it.
I know, just come up and have a conversation.
Yeah,
come on.
So deconstructing atheists one at a time. So there we go. We just deconstructed an atheist who's making a vacuous, unqualified, universal claim that he's not backing it up. Okay? Now I'm going to mute him. Because that he should be blocked for that. But once again, we have another example of drive-by atheists, right? And by the way, I get that kind of descriptor from the late, great Magnus Rush Limbaugh. Okay? Yeah, where he talked about the drive-by media who like to take pot shots. Okay? You see, atheists have been shooting off their mouth with slogans and cliches. Okay? So, Rob, come on up. Rob, come on up. I'll be glad to talk with you. Hey? Rob, stop posting. Do not post again until you come up. Because if you're unwilling to back up what you're saying, that you completely are lacking the courage of your convictions, then continuing to post means that you're just a drive-by atheist. All right? And it's humiliating to be a drive-by atheist. Okay? It's embarrassing. So, Rob, come on up. Oh, you're deaf? Then how is it that you're hearing me right now? Oops. Okay, so Rob, guess what? You're also blind because I'm blocking your account. Bye, Rob. I just blocked him.
So funny. So funny.
You see how easy it is? And it's actually fun exposing these drive-by frauds. Because if they were really serious about their statements, look, if I make statements and somebody says, Darth, come on up and defend it, boom, I'm up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, I've gone on Ian, I've gone on Dr. Blitz, right? And, they try to, they have their little tactics, right? I mean, if I asked Ian, he was saying, so, right, if he's locked God and a rapist, or a rapist and a child are in the room, and he doesn't stop it, right? And I said, of course that's evil, right? This is childish reasoning 101.
Right. Because God doesn't vanquish evil according to my plan. Therefore, na boo boo, he's a horrible God. So in other words, God could only be a good God is if he did things. So here's the deal. You turn around and say to Ian, do you want God to vanquish all evil right now?
Exactly.
Is that what you want? But notice how they say this stupid, and you'll excuse my French, this stupid shit. Well, God, why doesn't God stop the rapist? Why doesn't God stop the schmurderer? Because if God acts in global justice now, everybody's going to die.
It's going to be smudged out.
And me included, and you included.
Yep. Yeah.
So you see what childish reasoning that is? When Ian was confronting Jordan Peterson,
Peterson. Yeah.
yeah, I don't agree with Jordan Peterson, but
No, well, he's not a
I like
Christian,
Jordan
right?
Peterson. I think he's a
Yep.
really smart guy. I think the way he approaches the Bible is flat out wrong. But when Ian confronted him about how God can be omniscient and that would conflict with free will, Ian hasn't even the least bit investigation of those professional Christians who specialize in this stuff to give an explanation. So, for example, you think Ian has never heard about? You
Right.
mean Ian can't go on to his little keyboard warrior keyboard with all its blood-stained fingertips from the Band-Aids on there that he can't type in there saying, what Christian theologian addressed the issue about God's foreknowledge and human freedom? Because if you did, like if you do that in ChatGPT or Gemini, boom, pop, it's going to come up with a list of books, one of which is called What Does God Know? And it discusses the alleged conflict between divine foreknowledge and human freedom and why unbelievers egregiously make very stupid mistakes, errors in modal logic when they say you can't have free will if God knows what you're going to choose tomorrow.
Right.
And William Lane Craig blows that out of the water. He is a very competent philosopher.
I have
issues with them. Yeah, I have issues with them. There's a number of issues that makes me literally want to vomit with him, but I'm not going to get into it right now. But on the other hand, I am going to compliment him and praise him for he's an overwhelmingly competent philosopher.
Yeah.
He's a very competent theologian, although he has made a number of compromises when it comes to the issue of the historical Adam and evolution and things like that and creationism. But that's a separate issue. But you mean to tell me that Ian can't investigate one of the greatest representatives of Christian apologetics, where they've written even the book What Does God Know? Is a condensed version of his more scholarly work, the Divine Foreknowledge and Human Freedom, which is a much more expansive and technical analysis and historical survey of the situation. And because if Ian had investigated that, it's very easy to discover this. He would find out that there's no actual contradiction between God knowing what I will freely choose to do and my freedom to do so. Right. Because to say that there's a conflict is causally determined to do X. And God simply innately knows what I will freely choose. But then the reaction is well then how could God know what I freely choose unless if it wasn't determined? You see, this is very shallow and adolescent type of reasoning. It's an error in modal logic, and this is what William Lane Craig said several times in a Q&A when some guy goes, God can't be omniscient and free will, and William Lane Craig, who's usually very cordial, started laughing at this young man. And he goes, you just don't understand what you're talking about. You're making an error in modal logic. That I will do something tomorrow does not necessarily entail that I am causally determined to do what I will do. So, do you think Ian has investigated that? No.
He's too busy painting his fingernails.
Gee, I wonder why he does that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and if you look at his early videos, if you scroll down with all of his stupid videos, you'll see why.
Right.
Anyway, I'm going to stop harping on him lest I get accused of TikTok is crazy with their censorship. No,
Right.
even these atheists who, like Dr. Blitch, have a PhD in physics. See, this is the problem with that when you get an advanced degree like that, your competence will extend into areas that you don't have expertise in. Okay?
Right.
Like he said, right? Right? And thinking, first of all, it's not a given that God is outside of time. It's not even a given what time is. Because time is a notoriously difficult thing to define and nail down. But Dr. Blitz is a super genius, right? Because he knows for certain what time is, and therefore God couldn't have a mind outside of time. Well,
Yep.
where does it say that an omniscient being would have to have consecutive thought in a timeless state? Now, that's not my position. But the point is, when people get these degrees in some of these areas, they think they have competence in areas that they don't have competence in. Okay?
Yeah.
Look, when I went on Dr. Blitch's stream, which you can see on YouTube, it's very clear that he was just behaving like an obnoxious teenager, being dodging, evading, stalling, delaying, being rude, obnoxious, and then he resorted to blatantly trying to antagonize me. Why would you do that when you can just use the power of your super genius intellect
And
show your
defeat
audience
the argument,
and
right?
yeah, and use your super genius, Wile E. Coyote genius to walk Darth through and show Darth about, you're just wrong.
Yeah.
Why be evasive? Why be nasty? Why be disruptive? Why try to antagonize me? Because they don't want to have an adult, mature interaction. Because if they do, they know they're going to get smoked.
Yeah. Oh, and I love that. Like Justin claims that he's a previous Christian, right? And you're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, always keep in mind that these online former Christian skeptics, more often than not, they're exaggerating and embellishing what their past Christianity was in order for street cred.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that they always do it? No, not at all. Let's take Josh Bowen, that clown, okay? Right. Josh Bowen went to Capital Bible Seminary. I know about Capital Bible Seminary. I haven't stayed current on it, but a number of years ago, fantastic Bible-believing conservative seminary, okay? And he studied Hebrew. He studied theology, right?
Right.
And this is all legitimate. He's not embellishing it. But when you talk to people like Justin and Matt Dillabloviator and the rest of them, when they talk about their former Christianity, they always like to embellish it. How about this? If Justin was sufficiently knowledgeable in seminary training, explain to me this. Why, when he cited Zechariah 9, I believe verse 10, if I'm getting that correctly, where it's a prophecy of Jesus, or of the Messiah, riding a donkey into Jerusalem.
Right.
Okay? And how one of the gospel writers cites Zechariah, and Justin says, but they don't read the next verse, because the next verse says that the same Messiah is going to usher in world peace and put away the weapons of destruction and warfare. Right. And he goes, Jesus didn't do that. Wait a minute. If he knows anything about seminary training, that within biblical eschatology, even within the variant views on eschatology, the Messiah has a first advent and a second advent. And Zechariah 9:10 is referring to one event in the first advent and then what's going to occur in the second advent, but it doesn't explicitly state this is the first advent, second advent. Just as the Messiah will do this, and then the Messiah is going to do that, and then the Messiah is going to do that. On the theological landscape, that in the next do away with
his
war.
His rule shall
right?
be from sea to sea. He shall speak peace to the nation.
Yeah. Right. Now, nobody within Christianity is saying that Jesus fulfilled that in his first advent. You mean to tell me that Justin is not aware? Is he completely unaware that in the biblical framework, even though there are different eschatological views, such as premillennialism, postmillennialism, amillennialism, a first and a second advent?
Yep.
Okay? Yep. You mean to tell me Justin doesn't know that within Christian theology that there's a second phase to the Messiah in the second advent?
Yeah, he knows that. He's lying to his audience.
Right. So the point is, can we actually believe that he's utterly ignorant theologically when he claims he went to seminary about that there will be a second advent?
Yep.
Okay? So the point is, unless he's stone cold ignorant that Jesus will come in a second advent and that certain prophetical things are fulfilled at the first advent and some prophetical things are fulfilled at the second advent, you mean Justin is ignorant of that?
No, we know he's not.
So the point is, if he of it and he's saying, look, Jesus didn't fulfill that, wait a minute. He's now attacking a complete deliberate misrepresentation because nobody in Christianity, both in the past or in the present, is saying the verse correct, because
it was.
I'm mistaken.
It's 9.
Okay. Nobody is saying that the ushering in world peace would take place first coming.
Right.
So I'll leave that up to the audience to decide. Was Justin the great master and distributor of ignorant of the nature of Christ's first advent and second advent? Or was he completely ignoring this so he can say,
well, he said, you know what he wants to say? He wants to say that, yeah, Jesus didn't fulfill a single prophecy, right? And you're going, dude, right? You know better.
Okay, so look, and you know what? Did you know that he invited me up on a stream?
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the same day he called me out, people reported to me, hey, Justin's calling you out. Like, right. Oh, okay. I knew ahead of time, because my middle name is clairvoyant. It's Darth Clairvoyant Dawkins. I know because I'm clairvoyant what was exactly going to happen.